A company once so powerful it employed over 170,000 people vanished in less than 20 years. Britain's largest vehicle maker has gone from global roads. Factories that built trucks for 6 continents shut their doors forever. And the name that once stood for British pride, Leyland, simply disappeared. The truth behind Leyland's fall would change the future of Britain's entire automotive industry. Leyland Motors started in 1896 in the town of Leyland, Lancashire. At first, it was called the Lancashire Steam Motor Company and made steam-powered lawnmowers. By 1907, the company focused only on trucks, which soon became known for being strong and reliable across Britain and its colonies. During World War I, Leyland built thousands of trucks for the British Army. The RAF Leyland lorries became standard vehicles for soldiers. By 1918, Leyland was the top truck maker in Britain, and business stayed strong as the country rebuilt after the war. In the 1920s, Leyland grew fast and bought smaller companies, including Crossley Motors. It began making buses, which became very popular across Britain and in other countries like India, Australia, and South Africa. During World War II, Leyland produced more than 50,000 military vehicles, including tanks and recovery trucks. The government gave huge contracts, and factories were busier than ever. By 1945, Leyland was seen as Britain's leading truck company. After the war, Britain needed transport to rebuild. Leyland trucks helped power that recovery. The Leyland Comet, launched in 1947, became one of the most famous trucks in the country. Leyland buses filled British cities, and its vehicles served coal mines, steel plants and railways, driving the nation's recovery. The 1950s brought international recognition. Leyland trucks worked in over 100 countries. The company established assembly plants in India, Pakistan, South Africa and Australia. Revenue climbed steadily. In 1962, Leyland acquired Standard Triumph, moving into passenger car production. This marked the beginning of diversification beyond commercial vehicles. The pivotal moment came in 1968. Leyland merged with British Motor Holdings to form British Leyland Motor Corporation. This created Britain's largest automotive manufacturer, employing over 170,000 workers. The merger combined Leyland's commercial vehicle expertise with BMC's passenger car brands, including Austin, Morris, MG, Jaguar, Rover and Triumph. The new corporation controlled approximately 40% of Britain's car market and dominated commercial vehicle production. Problems emerged immediately. British Leyland inherited outdated factories, overlapping model ranges and complex labour relations. Management struggled to integrate diverse brands and rationalise production. Product quality declined. Industrial disputes increased. Between 1968 and 1975, British Leyland lost thousands of production days to strikes. Financial losses mounted rapidly. By 1974, British Leyland was losing money on most product lines. The oil crisis devastated sales. Export markets contracted. Domestic demand fell sharply. In 1975, the British government intervened to prevent total collapse. The Labour government nationalised British Leyland, investing £2.8 billion of public funds over the next decade. Nationalisation brought temporary stability but couldn't reverse fundamental problems. Product development lagged behind European and Japanese competitors. The Leyland truck division introduced new models, including the Marathon long-haul truck in 1973 and the T45 road train in 1980. The road train won Truck of the Year in 1981. But these successes couldn't offset passenger car division failures. Throughout the late 1970s and early 1980s, British Leyland hemorrhaged market share. European manufacturers like Mercedes-Benz, MAN and Volvo captured British fleet customers. Japanese manufacturers entered European markets with reliable, competitively priced vehicles. Leyland's traditional Commonwealth markets opened to international competition. Australia, once a Leyland stronghold, saw Japanese trucks dominate by the mid-1980s. management attempted multiple restructuring plans. In 1978, Michael Edwards became chairman with a mandate to save the corporation. Edwards closed unprofitable plants, reduced the workforce by 25%, and attempted to modernise labour relations. The car and truck divisions operated increasingly independently. Leyland Trucks became a separate entity within the corporation. The truck division maintained some success, even as passenger car operations collapsed. Leyland buses remained popular in Britain and developing markets. The Olympian double-decker bus, launched in 1980, sold well domestically. Leyland Trucks continued operating in construction, haulage, and municipal services across Britain, but profitability remained elusive. In 1986, the British government began privatising British Leyland. The truck and bus operations were sold separately from passenger car brands. Leyland Bus was sold to Volvo in 1988. Leyland Trucks was sold to DAF, the Dutch truck manufacturer, in 1987. DAF paid £44 million for Leyland Trucks and its manufacturing facilities. Under DAF ownership, Leyland Trucks continued production but lost brand identity. DAF integrated Leyland models into its own product range. The Leyland name gradually disappeared from new vehicles. By 1993, DAF itself faced bankruptcy. Leyland's Leyland factory in Lancashire was sold to American company Packer. Production continued under the DAF brand, but Leyland as a mark had effectively ceased to exist. The collapse destroyed communities across northern England and the Midlands. The Leyland factory complex that once employed 5,000 workers reduced to a fraction of that number. Engineering firms that depended on Leyland orders closed. Towns built around Leyland factories experienced economic devastation that lasted decades. Several factors contributed to Leyland's demise. Management failures topped the list. The 1968 merger created an unwieldy corporation that nobody could effectively control. Overlapping brands competed against each other for the same customers. Investment decisions favoured passenger cars over the profitable truck division. Product development suffered from insufficient funding and strategic confusion. Labour relations plagued British Leyland throughout its existence. Militant trade unions and fragmented union structures created constant industrial strife. Between 1968 and 1979, British Leyland experienced more strike days than any other British manufacturer. Quality control suffered. The company's reputation for reliability, built over decades, evaporated within years. Government intervention, while preventing immediate collapse, couldn't address fundamental competitive disadvantages. European competitors invested heavily in new technology, efficient manufacturing, and product development. Japanese manufacturers brought revolutionary quality control and lean production methods. British Leyland continued operating outdated factories with antiquated production techniques. Public ownership removed market discipline while failing to provide strategic direction. The British truck market itself transformed during Leyland's decline. By the 1980s, Mercedes-Benz, Volvo, Scania, and MAN dominated British long-haul fleets. These manufacturers offered superior reliability, better fuel economy, and more comfortable cabs. Fleet operators abandoned Leyland in favour of European alternatives. The company that once held 90% of the British truck market saw its share drop below 20% by the late 1980s. Today, the Leyland name survives only as industrial heritage. The original Leyland factory in Lancashire still produces trucks, but under the DAF brand owned by Packer. Some vintage Leyland trucks remain in preservation, maintained by enthusiasts who remember when British-built lorries ruled the roads. Museums across Britain display Leyland vehicles as artefacts of industrial history. The story of Leyland illustrates how quickly dominance can collapse. A company that supplied the British Empire, won world wars, and employed entire towns disappeared within 2 decades. Mismanagement, Labour strife, government interference, and foreign competition combined to destroy what took nearly a century to build. British commercial vehicle manufacturing never recovered. What was once a world-leading industry became dependent on foreign ownership and diminished production capacity. The legacy extends beyond business failure. Leyland's collapse represented the decline of British manufacturing itself. The confidence that British engineering could compete globally evaporated. Entire skill sets disappeared as factories closed and workers retired without training successors. Regional economies built on manufacturing employment struggled to adapt. The Leyland story became shorthand for industrial decline across Britain's heartland. From steam-powered beginnings in 1896 to dissolution in the 1980s, Leyland Motors travelled from triumph to catastrophe. The rise demonstrated British industrial capability, the fall exposed structural weaknesses that undermined that capability. What remains is memory, museum pieces, and lessons about how industrial giants can crumble when fundamentals are neglected. Leyland dominated British roads for generations. Now it exists only in history books and the memories of those who drove, built, or depended on the trucks that once carried Britain forward.